wanted to be on the stage, but she took it, and now look at us. We're all like family, and we both owe Kitty and Stan so much." Bert smiled. "You're right, we are family, and it's like I've known you and Annie all your lives. You were both very brave to come to London chasing your dreams." Rose smiled. "That's kind of you, Bert, but I only really came along for the fun while supporting Annie. Anyway, I suppose I better go before Miss Hetherington follows the noise and I get into trouble for laughing." Bert nodded. "Take care, and don't let her put you in a bad mood." Rose raised her eyebrows. "I'll do my best, but I can't promise. She always rubs me up the wrong way." "You're not alone there." Rose's red-painted lips tightened. "As much as I don't want to, I'd better get going." With a wave, she sped along the corridor. A sigh escaped her as she saw Miss Hetherington walking towards her. As usual, her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun at the nape of her neck. There was no getting away from the slender, terse-looking woman. "I'm here to see Miss Smythe," a deep voice boomed along the corridor. Rose turned and glanced in the direction it came from. A tall, suited man was standing near the stage door. Rose noticed the unusual pink tie he was wearing and the matching band on his trilby. Bert opened the visitor's book he kept on the table. "Good morning, sir. It's been a while since you were last here. No assistant with you this time?" The man smiled as he removed his hat. "No, she's busy back at the shop." Bert looked up from the page. "Miss Smythe is expecting you. I'll take you to her dressing room if you'd like to follow me." He smiled. "I remember last time you left here with an armful of paperwork." Rose stepped aside to allow Bert and the man to walk past. The man chuckled. Nodding his thanks to Rose, he continued his conversation. "Miss Smythe is a good customer who likes to keep me on my toes, but that's not necessarily a bad thing." Miss Hetherington smiled at the man in the suit as he walked past them. Rose wrinkled her nose as the man's overpowering woody scent lingered in the air. Miss Hetherington turned back to glare at Rose. "You're late, Miss Spencer." Startled, Rose looked at the watch on her wrist and fought the urge to disagree with her boss. "If that's so, I'm very sorry." She wondered what her problem was. Why was she so cold and unhelpful, and so mean to everybody? Rose turned into the sewing room and put her bag down on the side. She wanted to ask Miss Hetherington who the man was, but assumed she wouldn't tell her even if she knew. After strolling over to the sink, she turned on the tap. The pipes rattled as the water struggled to come through. She let it run for a moment before filling her cup with cold water. Miss Hetherington followed her into the room. Frowning, she watched as Rose settled herself at the table. "Miss Spencer, there are alterations to be done today, and they need to be ready for tonight." "Alterations?" "Yes. Some of the men have enlisted to fight in this terrible war, and the girls have left for more money at the munitions factory." Miss Hetherington sighed. "That means there's a lot of alterations, so the costumes will fit the new people." Rose frowned. "How many are we talking about?" Miss Hetherington's heels clipped the floor as she walked around the room, only stopping to straighten items on the table and the cotton reels in the racks. She turned to look at Rose. "I think about 6, but that may not be the final figure." Rose shook her head. "I'm not sure I'll be able to do that many in a day. Of course, it depends on what needs altering. Will you be able to help me?" "Where is the other seamstress? What's her name?" Rose raised her eyebrows. "Lizzie? Lizzie Turnbull?" She picked up her cup of water. "She's not in today." Miss Hetherington glared at Rose. "And who said she could have the day off?" Rose shrugged. "I did. She had a family emergency and we weren't busy, so I thought it would be all right." She looked directly at Miss Hetherington. "And you would have said no." Heavy footsteps could be heard marching along the hallway. Stan Tyler poked his head round the door of the sewing room. "Oh, Rose, thank goodness you're in early. I wasn't expecting you in until much later, but I'm glad you're here." Stan turned and nodded.